Hey y'all, I'm back to pull some cards for y'all. It's Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. Mondayed, didn't it? It really Mondayed. And now it's Tuesday, and that hoe is trying to bleed over, and I just need for Monday to get some boundaries. I need Monday to respect my time and understand that it got its 24 hours so it can go on and mind its business until next week. But obviously, ugh. Monday is trying to take over, and I rebuke that demon. Anyways, I am going to spare you all of the messy astrology going on right now and talk about that another time. I know I missed the new moon reading, but that new moon told me to sit down. So that's what I did. And I hope that you are finding and creating wellness with your loved ones, because that's what I'm trying to do. So let's see what these cards, what's some wisdom that we can take with us over the next few days as we traverse through our various trials and tribulations, the difficult decisions that some of us may have to make, the emotional struggles many of us are confronting and facing at this moment. As always, I cut the deck first and look at the card on the bottom. And that's our context, our reference point. Our context and reference point is the Five of Swords. This, for me, is the card of disregarding the opinions and judgments of others. And if there ever was a time to fortify your psychic and psychological boundaries, this is that moment. If there ever was a moment to invest in protecting your sanity, this moment is it. This moment is a war, and the winner of this war gets to define reality for everyone. It's very clear that some have decided to silo themselves and move forward in a reality of their own making, regardless of the material consequences of inhabiting and fortifying that reality. And for others of us, we have willingly or hesitantly or unwillingly accepted the task of this moment, which is to know reality and what it is based upon the material consequences of our encounter with it. So there are those of us who have established a veneer over material reality, meaning that we cannot see a thing as it is. We see it as we claim it to be. The Five of Swords is about shielding your mind, your decision making, your experience of reality from the pressure to conform, for the preservation of yourself. Now, this advice, this card, I mean, this is without judgment, because there are people on all parts of the political spectrum who have taken this posture. But I'm curious about what this next card is going to be. So let's go ahead and pull it. Ace of Pentacles. This really reiterates what I was talking about regarding the task of this moment. The task of this moment being to allow our material encounters with reality to determine for us what it is, rather than preserving a story or an idea that it is very clear that material reality is dismantling. So on a personal level, we might hold on to norms and expectations, following routines and ways of doing things that threatened by the reality that we find ourselves in. I feel like these cards really are piggybacking off of the reading that I did for over the weekend, where we saw the Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, and we talked a lot about security and what that means for you. And I see this theme carrying forward, that security is not something that we talk about a lot. It's kind of the silent player in the news stories and in our lives. We don't give it a name. We don't give a name to security, that feeling of stability, the material evidence for having enough, for being enough. And what are the emotional and psychological, and more importantly, the relational consequences of security? How do you move through your life, in your relationships with loved ones, with your friends and significant others and family members? How do you move in those relationships when you have a sense of security? This Ace of Pentacles is telling me that this is what we need at this moment. We need a sense of security, and we need to prioritize that over other things, right? We need to prioritize that over preserving identities that undermine our material security. What identities and roles have you taken on, or that have been a given or assigned to you, that actually undermine your material security? How can you shield your mind, protect your psyche and your sanity from influence of those who need you to be the same way that you've always been? And by being the same way that you've always been actually undermines your capacity to create the material and emotional security that you need. Do you know that you are entitled to security? And that security is not something that you create on your own by yourself? Did you know security cannot be possessed by one person? Did you know that? Security is a shared experience, a communally cultivated social contract that says, I know that if you feel secure and you feel safe, I will be safe and I will be secure. And that my security comes from making sure that you are secure. You cannot own security. You cannot create it on your own. You cannot maintain it on your own. Should you lose a limb? Should you have long haul COVID symptoms that change your brain, your lung capacity, your cognitive abilities? You can't maintain it. Security is shared. So these cards are asking us to discard the familiarity of identities and roles we've had to take on, but are no longer needed because they are undermining our capacity to be secure. What does this look like in your life? That's the question for today. I'm going to be thinking about it as well. Comment here. Comment on this. Talk to me. How is your definition, your understanding of security changing for you? And how does your understanding, these new understandings of security, make you question your identity and who you are? That's a deep one. I'm gonna think about it. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Stay safe. Stay prayed up. Whatever your rituals around protection are. And after you pray for yourself and do some protection work for yourself, do some for somebody else with their consent. Protection is shared as well. Safety cannot be owned. It cannot be possessed or created independently. We're going to get there. We're getting there. Y'all know it. Survival is meant to be a shared burden, not an individual obligation, not a personal responsibility. It just doesn't work that way. Evidence is everywhere. Just look around. Y'all take care. Take some of them breaths. I'm going to take some when I get off this camera. Peace out, y'all.